Hello and welcome to my build. This is a capital class ship bay, strictly for building, well, not exactly strictly, I guess you could fit a small ship in here, but it'd be, well, little excessive. Anyway, so let's get started. It's only a work in progress at the current point in time. Eventually it will actually be on a rail system, so that it can move that way. What do you want to call that? Horizontally. Yes, it'll move horizontally on a set of rails. Not like building rails like mods. No. Not using mods. This is all vanilla. I'm going to build a rail system with some suspension wheels and doodads and whatnot. But anyway, this first button here sets up sets off a set of timers over here that tells this welder group here to turn on. And then it tells the scanning bracket on the arm to move this bracket down. Once it reaches the end, it shuts off the welders and moves them up about 3 meters, which actually probably, yeah, no, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it at 3 meters. Turned out earlier that 3 meters didn't actually move the pistons up 3 meters. It actually moved them about 2, which didn't move it up far enough for another block layer to fit in there. So I'm thinking about upping it to a fourth meter up. But anyway, let's start the bastard up. And while the sucker's going, we can look at some of the other functions. Since it doesn't quite reach all the way in towards the center, I actually added a secondary set for doing the core of the ship. So as it scans along the rails, once it gets to that point where I have the rails on it, it'll actually have a rail set on here. And the central ones will move out. Huzzah! Okay. And these ones will have their own timer set too, so that they can scan across and then go back and all that kind of jazz. The other thing is that once they reach the end, they can actually adjust their axis. Not quite entirely sure what I was thinking with that, but it works. I'll show you that once it reaches the end and pulls up. I'll show you all the functions on there. But there you go, that reaches in and it gives exactly 1 block space in between. That means that you can have a 4-high strip that's from the entire center of your ship. So the very center block, 1 wide and 4 or 5 high, can be sitting in the middle here. So you do that for the whole length of your ship, and then you scan these out until you have the whole center wafer of your ship, which will run out to about there. Once you have that center wafer, which is 5 by I don't know, I'd say like 11, maybe 12. So once that's 5 by 11 or 12. Anyway, once that's done, you can actually come back here, turn off these things here. It's nowhere near reached the end quite yet. Let's reset those. They'll come back. Waiting for it, waiting for it, waiting for it. This is slow. It's very slow, but it's very smooth. See? Buttery smooth. Well, maybe not quite buttery smooth, because this screen recording software is a little bit jumpy here and there. As you noticed, it slows me down to where my walk is a crawl and my run is a walk. So let's go back to the control panel here. Oh yeah, and it does actually have a lower set too, so like I said, this is actually for right about capital class ships. Very, very large, about 11 or 12 by however the hell long you want it. And And this can be built in survival. It's not a whole lot bigger than the one that I built before. It's a little more complex. A lot more complex than the original that I built. And that didn't jump up. Why didn't you jump up? Let's take a look here. Limbs. Oh, I forgot to hit the reset button. Forgot to hit the reset button. Damn, that ruined my whole day. Well, if I'd have hit the reset button, it would have reversed these back down and then back into the upward direction after making their minimal distance back to all the way down to 10 meters, or all the way up to 10 meters. And then it would have reversed again, and then at the end of the scan thing, at the end of the scan cycle, it actually decreases the minimal distance on the limbs. So let's go ahead and select the limbs here and tell them to reverse, and it would have moved them up that much. But see, if you can see by the block sitting next to them, they didn't quite move a whole meter up, even though I set them to move 3 meters. I don't know why. Let's take a look at this. Let's go to limbs. What are they set at? They're set at 8.5, which is weird because is it 1, 2, 3, 9, 8? I guess I need to adjust that timing session a little bit. So the logic's a little flawed, but it's still working. Either way, then we've got the axis change over here. Which does in fact coordinate with all of them. So say you're doing a smaller ship. You could just build this section without the rails. You could build a much smaller ship with no trouble at all. Hell, the regular respawn ship would be able to be built by this in a jiffy. Well, maybe not a jiffy, because the scanning over the blocks takes a while. Had to build it that slow, had to make it scan that slow, otherwise it would not have been able to get some of the more complex blocks. They'd have the holy crap welding time on them. Oh, that's not right. This is an odd issue I have not seen before. See, they don't usually do this. I think this is because of the processing taking place. See, they don't usually... That's gotta be because of how much processing I'm burning with the video editing software. Oh, look at that. There we go. Now it's finally going. Okay. Everybody's happy. Nobody's dying. It's good. Anyway, at the top angle here, I would assume that I would have a system to feed in materials into the top of those. I'm not quite entirely sure how I'm going to go about that yet, but the welding machine is the good part. It has access to a whole bunch of different angles and things, and can fit very large ships in here. So, now that you've seen it, there it is. So that, and that, which should reset the machine back to its original position. Yeah, see, those will come down, and then the scan part of it will go all the way in. Well, have a good day.